Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Magnum Martel, and welcome back to another video. Now, it's been a while since I actually did a video game-based topic, and I finally found one. I've been away for a little while. I haven't had the time to sit down and actually record a video, and just as I'm sitting there going, God damn it, what the fuck am I going to do a fucking video about this week? The topic just seemed to fall into my lap, and nobody really wants to talk about this. CD Projekt Red, supposedly the bosses. The big boys at the top, the board members, the guys in suits who are so out of touch they don't know the first thing about what they're doing, that love to screw everybody over, are apparently set to receive huge $4 to $6 million bonuses, while the employees that worked on the game got their bonuses lowered. All because the game had a terrible launch, even though it was a rousing success. Now, we all know about the game returning over 30,000 copies sold and selling a metric fuck ton. Well, let's get right into it, and let's read the story. Now, before we go any further, it's very, very, very important, and I cannot stress enough how important this is, to take everything I am about to read to you with a salt mine of salt. Call Gordman's and ask them to borrow one of their salt mines for a day, because you're gonna fucking need it. Because this is coming from Bloomberg and Jason fucking Schreier, of all people. Okay? And we all know that he has a hate boner for CD Projekt Red, because they wouldn't do what he wanted with The Witcher 3, and because he loves to attack them. So take it with a big, huge, fucking deep mine full of salt. And consider that just maybe he's a bullshitter, because Jason has a history. And anyone who takes Jason seriously and believes he is a credible journalist without any salt is a fucking tool. Never trust those people either. Cyberpunk managers still win big bonuses after shoddy game launch. Hi everyone, it's Jason. We know who you are. Trust me, it's no secret to anyone who you are. Cyberpunk 2077 was the video game industry's biggest flop of 2020. No. Objectively, The Last of Us 2 was the biggest flop. Nice fucking try. You can protect that game all you want. It was still objectively worse. Its myriad of glitches fueled the internet's meme machine, and Sony Corp still refuses to sell the game through its online store. Yet the exclusives who run the Polish studio, yet the executives who run the Polish studio that made the game will nevertheless receive millions of dollars in bonuses this year. Okay, you're off to a bad start by basically fucking ignoring the truth. The rest of the staff will also get bonuses, but some of them expected bigger ones, and may have gotten more if the game's release had been delayed until it was ready, as they'd asked if the developers had more time to work out the kinks and bugs, then CD Projekt SA would likely sold more games, leading to higher profit. Instead, management pushed the game out anyway. Pay disputes between executives and their employees is a perennial issue throughout the business world, made more urgent by the coronavirus pandemic, you mean the plandemic, during which millions of people lost their jobs. But not you, Jason. Not the someone who should have lost his job a long time ago. The typical CEO among the 1,000 biggest publicly traded companies in the U.S. receives 144 times more than the median employee, according to data compiled by Bloomberg. The games industry has been a common battleground for this topic. For example, Activision Blizzard Incorporated shareholders have been agitating for reductions in the CEO's pay since at least early last year. Isn't it funny how the shareholders are the ones that want him to get less pay? And this week, the company apparently bent to those pressures when CEO Bobby Kotick would take a 50% pay cut as part of a contract extension. Thanks to a lot of marketing hype, Cyberpunk, a sci-fi dystopia starring Keanu Reeves, I can't fucking talk today, sold 13 million copies in the first 10 days after its December launch. But that was less than analysts were expecting. Cyberpunk's score on Metacritic, never fucking trust Metacritic. Metacritic is bought and paid for. It's like Rotten Tomatoes. A review aggregation site was partly 57 out of 100 for the maligned PlayStation 4 version. CD Projekt CEO Martin, I'm not even going to try to fucking pronounce his last name, made a public mea culpa. What the fuck? Jason, you throw in fucking words that I don't think you even know the definition to, that the vast majority of people have never heard or seen written in their lives. And you do it to make yourself sound smart, and it pisses me off. One of these days, I'm going to stick my foot up your ass, and you're going to deserve it. about the state of the game. Yet the CEO and co-CEO, Adam, I'm not going to even try to pronounce his fucking name. I'm terrible with Polish names. I really am. I struggle with them. I don't know why. Are each slated to receive a bonus of $24 million or $6.3 million according to the company's annual report. That would be $24 million in whatever the name for Polish currency is. Zloty? And that'd be $6.3 million US. Adam Bradwowski, a board member and the director of Cyberpunk 2077, will take home $4.2 million. These bonuses, part of an annual profit-sharing plan, are based on the company's 2020 net earnings, which jumped more than 500%. And there has been no sources provided here. It's worth noting that. Let's break down the numbers of CD Projekt's annual earnings. 20% is allocated of profit-sharing bonuses, 10% going to employees, 10% going to the board, according to the company. Some employees told Bloomberg that they will receive profit-sharing bonuses of about $5,000 to about $9,000, while other, more senior employees said they will get closer to $15,000 or $20,000. Managers and directors will likely receive much higher bonuses. In a statement, a CD Projekt spokesperson said that the company had allocated a total of $29.8 million to 865 employees for an average of about $34,000 each. Staff also received separate, smaller performance bonuses earlier this year. In contrast, just five of CD Projekt Red's board members received bonuses totaling $28 million. CD Projekt executives did take a financial hit this year. 4 board members owning roughly 30% of the company's stock, which has plummeted 57% since Cyberpunk's launch. But they'll also receive more in a year of bonuses than many workers will paid in a lifetime. Yeah, that's how the fucking world works, Jason. I don't hear you fucking getting on Sony's case about this. I don't hear you going out of your way to attack your buddies at Naughty Dog, who you fucking go out of your way to fucking defend their every move. When asked on the investor call last week whether it was appropriate, in quotations for some reason, for the board to take such hefty bonuses, Kaczynski, that one CEO guy, said that their compensation has always, again in quotations, been tied to the company's profits. That's pretty standard practice, actually. Quote, "We earned this money. The company earned this money. Of course, but more net profits, more bonuses." He said, "So, well, we have results. We get bonuses, and that's the contract we have." I mean, that doesn't make it right, but I would like to see the source on that quote, because I don't believe that that's what was actually said. I think Jason Schreier's making that up. The good news is that CD Projekt appears to be re-examining its practices in an attempt to keep staff from departing, a concern that Kaczynski acknowledged on the call. One employee said that this year the company reevaluated salaries and increased wages for some of the lowest paid positions, such as testing, and align them with video game industry standards. Even so, the compensation chasm between them and the studio heads remains vast. Jason Schreier. Okay, so take all of that again with a massive salt mine, because you're going to need to, and let's have a little chat about it. Okay, so it's no secret to anyone that Jason Schreier has a hate boner the size of my dick for CD Projekt Red. Okay? That is no secret to anybody. We all know that. He has hated them for years. He has done everything he can to shit on them throughout the entire development of Cyberpunk. Granted, in the end, the game ended up being a buggy mess. And while they have updated some patches and they have fixed a few things, it's still pretty broken, and it definitely hurts them as a company. They are no longer the patron saint of the gaming industry that we viewed them as a couple of years ago when they released The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, which is still a phenomenal, if not flawless, masterpiece. The thing here is that what's going on in the company, these bonuses that are going to the executives and not the regular employees, that is standard practice for the business world. You will see that everywhere. I work at a company as my day job, my normal job, my job that I'm doing when I'm not doing YouTube, the thing that currently pays my bills while I try to work on this channel and make it a success. I get nothing. I don't even get a share. My company actively lies to me about how much profit we made at our specific location so that the guys at management will get the bonus and we will not. So that the CEOs can continue to get the bonus and we will not. That is literally standard corpo business practices that everybody should fucking know by now. Jason Schreier, they literally do that at Bloomberg where you work. They did that at Kotaku, where you used to work, before you got your stupid ass fired for doing a bad job. You got more than the guy who's writing the column about an upcoming game. You get more than the guy who's cleaning the fucking bathrooms. Welcome to the world of corporate greed. Okay, now yes, it is a good thing that this was reported on by someone, and I'm surprised that my cohorts within the commentary community and SJW aggressor community are not talking about this. I'm genuinely surprised that I haven't seen anything from anyone else about this article. Now, I would love it if one of those guys who I commonly watch, that I usually get a couple topic ideas from, would actually look into this themselves and see what the truth is, because I don't trust Jason Schreier. He just has proven time and time again that he hates them so much that his words cannot be trusted and must be considered, and they must be researched. And unless he's giving us people and direct sources, I don't believe a goddamn word he says. Cyberpunk 2077 was not a bad game. It wasn't a good game. It wasn't a bad game. It was a mediocre game. It was a fun game, absolutely. It certainly wasn't The Witcher 3, where the gameplay is good and the story is great. It was, the gameplay is pretty good and the story is lackluster, but, you know, it's still a fun experience, and I'd recommend picking it up on sale when you can. You know, it's not a bad game. It'd be an infinitely better game if it wasn't so buggy at launch, and they had actually done what they promised and created a good story. And, you know, I'm going to be honest, Keanu Reeves' performance was a little flat in some places, but, you know, it happens. It fucking happens. I've played through the game twice myself, and I still enjoy it. I'd probably enjoy it more if there was more reason to play through it again. I've seen 4 endings in 2 playthroughs because you can replay the ending and make different choices. Jason Schreier has zero credibility. He's not a good journalist. I'll admit that when I read one of his last articles here a couple weeks ago, I actually did praise him for being objective and keeping his bullshit to himself until the very end, where he added his opinion, and I can't fault a man for doing that. But in this case, it was pretty obvious from the start of the article that he was trying to make CD Projekt Red look terrible. Look, 100%, CD Projekt is no longer the patron saint of the gaming industry that we saw them as. They were the good guys, the heroes. They were the ones who we thought were going to bring the industry out of the darkness and back into the light. But unfortunately, greed got to their head, and success went to them, and they failed. And that's their own fault. Now they're just another company that, when they make a game, we'll pay attention to it and we'll go, okay, it's good, I'll pick it up. But we're also going to take everything with some salt. But one can't deny the fact that Cyberpunk 2077 was a huge flop in the gaming industry. Sure, it didn't sell as well as projected, and it did get a lot of copies returned, a lot of returns. And yes, they did push it out when they shouldn't have. It wasn't ready. They knew it wasn't fucking ready, and they pushed it out because they got greedy. They didn't care if it was complete, they just wanted it out. And that's a problem. You can't fucking do that. But the developers are just as at fault because they lied to us about features. And this wasn't features that they could have just put in later. This was features that were obviously supposed to be there, that were advertised to be there, that they just never did anything with. And they never told us we decided not to do this. As far as I'm concerned, if you let us believe that there's still a feature in the game where that feature does not exist, you lied. But if you tell us we wanted to do this, but we couldn't do this because it just didn't work out, I will be a lot less upset. Because at least you'd be telling me the fucking truth. And sure, you could express that in this article, but you actively chose not to. In all of your hate articles about CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk, you didn't express any of that. You just expressed that they were a bad, racist, sexist, evil company, while you were praising fucking Naughty Dog and The Last of Us 2. And that, Jason, is why I don't like you. Unfortunately, there are still a lot of people out there who are going to take this entire article from Jason at face value and just assume it to be fact. And that's a problem, because we all know that Jason is not a credible journalist. He's a fucking manipulator. And that's why I felt the need to cover it, more than anything, just because I know that someone has to be the one to say, hey, make sure you take this with some salt, because Jason's an SJW piece of shit who's not a good journalist. He's not a journalist at all. He's not a real journalist. He's a fucking liar. He's a manipulator. He's a narrative pusher. He's a mouthpiece. Now, if it's true, and CD Projekt Red's people took these big bonuses while the people who made the game got fucked, nobody's gonna care. Nobody's going to do a goddamn thing. Yes, we should all know about it, and maybe consider in the future, you know what? Maybe you guys are a bunch of fucking assholes, so we don't praise them as the good guys in the future. But we can't change it. We can't do anything. This is common in the corporate world, and that's all there is to it. There's nothing anyone can do about it, unless they're going to go in there, start a company, and be better than all the others, and still win, which is something that you're just not going to fucking do. It's not possible. But that's all I have to say about it. I've said my piece, I made my point, and I gave you the information. Thanks for watching, everybody. My name is Magnum Martel. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.